Hi, welcome to this updated video looking at possible predictions for the AQA A-Level Biology Paper 3. So this is updated after having a look at Paper 1 and Paper 2 and thinking what came up and what hasn't yet been assessed. So I'll quickly just whiz through what we talked about already. So in 2023, these things came up, that's last year, and then we also looked at what came up in 2022 and 2021. And then what I've also been able to do is think what came up in Paper 1 from 2024 and add this into this kind of graphic. Now, I was getting a little bit busy, a little bit slightly overwhelming, to be honest, so I got rid of 2021, because actually I think if it did come up in 2021, there were a few instances where it came up again, and actually students have told me that practicing the 2021 papers was quite helpful because they felt like the papers were quite similar, so that's something that you might want to do. But this is what came up this year and in the last 2 years for the Year 12 content. Now, the big thing that we can see here is that cell recognition in the immune system hasn't been assessed at all yet from Paper 1. So this is definitely something to brush up on before Paper 3. It could be quite possible that they could ask you some questions on this. And like, if I had to place money on a specific aspect of this, I would probably talk about antigen presentation and maybe T lymphocyte mediated immunity is a guess, but just know the whole thing. So that's the Year 12 content, stuff that hasn't come up. If we look at the Year 13 content, there really wasn't anything on respiration in Paper 2 or anything on energy and ecosystems. So those are areas to revisit. And also there wasn't that much on control of gene expression, so that's Section 8. So these are the red boxes here, things that haven't really come up at all in terms of the subsection of the spec. So if we look at the predictions that I made a while back, Paper 1, I was pretty pleased with the predictions. A lot of the stuff came up, but if it's not highlighted in green here, it didn't come up. So again, have a look at these. It's possible that this might appear in Paper 3. So protein structure typically comes up every year and hasn't come up yet, and how mutation affects protein structure. So have a look at that again. DNA replication hasn't come up. Translation did, as opposed to transcription. Was it translation? Oh, no, it wasn't translation. It was more like exporting a protein after it had been translated. So potentially that could still come up. But DNA replication and viral replication, that kind of stuff hasn't come up. So have a look at these things that aren't green. It could still come up in Paper 3. Paper 2 prediction rate wasn't as great. You win some, you lose some. Stuff that typically comes up on the left here, a lot of that did come up again, so that was good. But stem cells and cancer haven't really come up, so they could come up in Paper 3. And on the right here, I still have a strong feeling about oxidative phosphorylation. That links with the fact that respiration didn't come up at all, and potentially something to do with artificial fertilizers and eutrophication, because again, that energy flow through ecosystems bit didn't come up at all. Action potential reflex arc, maybe that's not going to come up because there was quite a lot of stuff on the neuromuscular junction, which is in that same kind of area. There wasn't anything on the kidney yet, so glomerulus is still a possibility. There were some genetics questions, of course, kind of touching on sex linkage and a little bit to do with linkage, but epistasis didn't come up. I kind of thought it was going to, but it hasn't. So have a look at that again, possible. Ecological sampling did come up in a pretty big way, and there was that competition question about plants competing. So those are all the predictions in terms of the main body of Paper 3. I'll quickly just go back so you can pause and have a look at these kind of red boxes. Those I think are really important. Lots of stuff on cell recognition in the immune system, and then potentially lots of stuff on respiration, energy and ecosystems, and a control of gene expression. Now, what about the essay? It's almost impossible to say what it's going to be. Again, this is a slide that shows you what the essay titles have been since the new spec. But based on what came up in Paper 1 and Paper 2, it does potentially look like something DNA focused could come up. Maybe it would be the importance of nucleotides and molecules derived from nucleotides. That's my sort of prediction 4. Or it could be something like the importance of the structure of DNA. It's a bit similar to the essay that came up in, which year was it? Was it 2020? No, 2019. The importance of DNA as an information-carrying molecule. So it could be something a little bit similar to that essay title, but maybe just tweaked a bit. Maybe the importance of DNA structure, or something like that. So hopefully you've prepared all these essays already, but just revisit your essay plans for those kind of red highlighted essays. The DNA one is number 4. Number 3, the importance of receptors. That could really help them, the examiners that is, kind of test your knowledge of the immune system, because you could talk about all the receptors that are involved in triggering the specific immune response. And of course, you could also talk about like photoreceptors, the Pacinian corpuscle, those are types of receptors, chemoreceptors and baroreceptors in control of heart rate. And you could also talk about receptors at the synapse, or insulin receptors and glucagon receptors and cyclic AMP and all that sort of stuff. So there could be lots of things there. So yeah, water has been my favorite for 2 years now, but I probably am now maybe more leaning to prediction 3, the importance of receptors, prediction 4, something kind of DNA focused. Okay, I hope that helps. All the best, and best of luck with your exam this week. Bye-bye.